talking fwamp sports, fwamp sports, fwamp sports. And we're going to talk about the three bad teams in the National Football League last week. And here they are. I'm sorry, Houston. I got to put you in this list, even though I know you playing in a game that was obviously difficult to play in, with the Raiders playing with a lot of emotion. But in my opinion, you should not have lost this game. I mean, granted, that last play was difficult for Matt Schaub to figure out whether or not he was running or throwing, and it is what it is. And some people feel that Al Davis slowed him down, which is kind of metaphorically funny. But the reality is, you should win that football game. You had a huge win over the Steelers the previous week. You needed to beat the Raiders. No matter how distracted the Raiders were, they played with gallant championship style, and you should have been able to overcome it. And now you have Baltimore this week, who is looking to, keep you down because they don't want to lose their spot to you in the playoffs. And it's a bad loss. Yes, Foster ran well, and yes, you can't control people pulling hamstrings, and now you got Mario Williams out for the season. You guys got your hands full for the next few weeks. And by the way, folks, you can call in the show by dialing 323-962-1937. If you want to talk any sport, just chime on in. The second team has to be the New York Jets. Who are you? Are you a running team, a passing team, a zone team, a blitzing team, a man-to-man team? Are you a team that talks a lot of smack and can't back it up? Until you figure out who you are, you know what team you are? You're a losing team. And today's nonsense with the offensive linemen and Santonio Holmes having issues, sometimes you put people in leadership roles that shouldn't be leaders. Yes, Santonio Holmes, yeah, he's got a Super Bowl ring and so on and so forth, but what else? He's only been in the league for 5-6 years? I mean, he can't do anything on the field unless the quarterback gets him the ball. Win a game first. And what's happened to the tight end position? I mean, the Jets' tight ends the last few years have been one of the best. Keller has been one of the best tight ends in football. I mean, I don't understand what is going on in New York. Stop praising the other team. Stop trying to get headlines with your statements, doing TV shows, doing magazine articles. Win a game. I mean, the Jets might be the first team in the history to have too much talent because of the fact that they don't know how to use it all. They don't know if they want to run it. They don't know if they want to throw it. They can't protect Sanchez. They can't stop anyone either. So you're being out-coached, you're being out-schemed, you're being outplayed. And until you do, you should shut your mouth. And don't think the Giants are going to escape my wrath, folks. They're in the ugly section, so I'm not just picking on Jets. I'm going to jump all over the Giants in a minute. And the third team, it has to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, was the plane ride from Tampa Bay too far? Was it a bad in-flight movie? Bad hotel service? Maybe you had a bad pregame meal. For you to be humiliated like that. I mean, you won 10 games last year. You played great football this season. You got some very good wins. To go to San Francisco against a team that, I don't know, has a quarterback whose confidence might be growing, a running back who hasn't really done much this season so far, young receivers who one week look great, the next week don't look like anything, to allow them to put a 48 spot on you. A 48 spot. And you only score 3 points. And then, on top of that, you lose LeGarrette Blount. I mean, the only reason why you're not in the ugly section is because I know that coach is not going to tolerate that. But come on, people. 48-3? San Francisco hasn't scored 48 points in 2 games in the last 2 years. Now, granted, they've had a couple good games this year. But come on. I mean, that's the kind of game that late in the season, you're in 10-6, 9-7, and someone else is 9-7 or 10-6. And that's the one game that cost you an opportunity to get in the postseason. got to be ready to play every week, folks. Because if you're not, you're going to get steamrolled. And Tampa Bay got steamrolled. And we'll be back on 89.7 KLASFM after this word from the Jeffrey Foundation.